Live. You want the awkward intro?
Yeah.
Welcome
Bring it
back
back.
to Bat Flip Entertainment's college football show presented by football. That's what we're presented by. We're Adamless again this week. I'm not shocked by that, but Cooper's with me. How you doing, Cooper?
I'm all good. We're in here.
The big Indiana win. Is Ohio State still the best team?
We're looking at next season.
They're number one. Are they the way too early number one?
We'll see. We'll see.
Okay, we'll get into way too early rankings later in the. It's
Later
still
in the
way
season.
Too early. Yeah, later in the off season.
Yeah.
If you haven't noticed, we no longer have a intro video
for this week.
Yeah, he got upset about that. So apparently,
he got offended.
Hopefully, yours is shorter than a full minute.
I will not make mine a full minute.
Okay.
I will try to get it finished by next Wednesday, and I'm actually kind of excited about it. I've sat there and tried so hard. I'm like, I need to find a good background music, and I finally found one. And I'm not going to spoil it for you.
Magic Carpet Ride.
Yeah. No, I'm going to not put any spoilers. Your genuine reaction is going to be when we play it for the show. I'm excited for
it. All right. So then that'll be a nice introduction too. I'll probably be speechless as we come in. Someone else is going to have to say, welcome to the Bat Flip Entertainment College Football Show.
Mm-hmm. I can spoil. I won't have some weird over, like, God-sounding voice at the very end of the video going, now, ready for the College Football Show. I'm not going to do that. Why?
Just have Damien put it back in.
That was the awkward part of it. Was him at the end, just the very serious, like, in the mic, like this. Like,
we love you, Damien. Sometimes.
Kinda.
Yeah, stick to baseball.
Yeah, stick on your side of the fence.
The outfield, as we learned last night.
The outfield.
We'll keep NASCAR off the college football podcast.
Back to football.
Football, yes. We have lawsuits. There was lawsuits in NASCAR all off season. We have lawsuits now in college football. Darian Mensah finally said, my voice is gone. That was weird. Darian Mensah finally settled out of court with Duke. I don't know how closely you were following the situation, but essentially Mensah did not opt to go to the draft. He, I wouldn't say recommitted to Duke, but said he was coming back to school. And then the last day of the portal, he entered the portal. When he entered the portal, well, before last year, he had signed a 2-year, $8 million NIL deal that Duke alleged was a breach of contract, essentially, when he went in. So judge put an order on him that he couldn't enroll in another university while this was under review, essentially. And then they ended up settling out of court. So I believe that's probably going to look like Mensah paying back some of that NIL money. Don't know if that comes from Miami, if it'll come from Mensah, because I think the way it was set up was 18 different installments across the 2 years. But essentially, it was a breach of contract lawsuit, and then they settled out of court. So, don't know your thoughts on that. I think this is actually a decent way to show how this should go going forward, transfer portal wise.
That sounds like a better step in the direction than what we've had. Obviously, I don't know. I mean, I don't think anybody really knows besides the people who made up the contract, the details of the contract. If there was some type of clause in there saying he can't transfer anywhere.
There wasn't. That was the tough part. There was no buyout, this, that, nothing. There was, they said the word verbiage in the contract was light, which is kind of why this went to a lawsuit and hit the courts.
Stuff like this will make schools learn from this. And we'll probably have, hopefully, some more like concrete contracts that say, like, if you sign this deal for 2 years, you are playing with us for 2 years, kind of thing. And ultimately, I think that is kind of what this has to kind of go in the direction of, in the sense of if you want to treat these guys like pros basically at this point and pay them like pros, you kind of have to draw up some contracts that kind of force people to somewhat be committed to schools and not just be able to sign a deal, get a bunch of money, and then next year bounce to whatever school they wanted to for any other X amount of money.
Right.
Um, so you said Mensah is going to Miami though. So, and I mean, basically Miami is paying for it because
You
they're
would
gonna,
assume so. I don't
yeah.
know how much. I mean, Mensah's basically would be giving back what Duke just gave him, but I think this is a good way. I mean, the system is broken, right? But I
Mhm.
feel like broken systems sort of fix themselves, and this almost seems like a first step in starting to fix itself.
Yeah. I mean, the commissioner would really expedite this process of having schools kind of be forced to be able to, have to sign guys and make them committed. That would
Hmm.
help. But with there not being a commissioner and not being one guy in charge to make these types of rules, it's going to have to somewhat go in this direction where guys are going to have to be signed to said school for X amount of years, kind of like the pros, you know.
With a buyout,
And
it's like a coach's contract in a
yeah,
sense.
yeah.
Probably, I don't know if those contracts are with the school specifically or sort of a sponsor of the school that is ending or paying. I'm not exactly sure how his was written up, but I think NIL wise, this will be exactly, even with the commissioner, college football governing it, I think this is going to be very similar. You're going to see a similar structure with these buyouts and whatnot,
Hmm.
clauses in these different contracts. So it was actually sort of refreshing for me to see something like that.
Hmm. I always liked seeing guys move around. It's cool to see all the different names move around the transfer portal and, you know, to a point. There's always that time where it's like, all right, now it's kind of gotten a little bit ridiculous where you almost kind of want to see some guys.
Mm-hmm.
This parlays into such a long conversation about, guys not being committed to schools in general. And then therefore it parlays into that's why bowls don't matter. And there's no like care about schools winning certain bowl games or, in rivalry games of, whatever school you're a part of. And I think that kind of forcing guys to say when you sign with said school and you commit to said school when you're a freshman, that you have to somewhat be committed to that school for a set period of time beyond just the year that you're there. And that almost kind of forces guys to be a little bit more invested in, how the team and how the school actually performs versus just I'm going to here for X amount of money, and then the next chance I get to get any more money, I'm going to go anywhere else,
Right.
to a bigger school or whatever.
I signed here for $2 million this year, knowing I'm not going to play, but just get the payday, and then I'm going somewhere that I'm going to play next year.
Yeah, exactly.
I do. It's that or a limit on how many transfers you do get. I don't know. I mean, there's so many different ways to go about it, but keeping these kids at one school for a few years at least, it stabilizes them, and I think also stabilizes programs because you're going to start to see
Yep.
programs get mutilated essentially. And I
Mm-hmm.
was just looking it up here. Over 3,400 players entered the transfer portal.
That is just insane amount of money, like insane amount of people.
Mm-hmm. That's and only 70% of them it's showing have committed. So you've got what 800, 900 kids out there still without a school that they're going to.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows for various reasons? Maybe some of them entered the transfer portal because they're thinking about not playing anymore, um, hurt, whatever else it may be. I mean, some of them might run into that, but how many people maybe did ruin their career by making a jump for nothing?
Yeah.
But to the point of the Mensah thing, I do like contracts being, I like being under contract and kind of holding a standard to that contract in that sense. So he's off to Miami. He did finally, I think, commit Tuesday. I think it was official. So one of many quarterbacks to hit the portal, and think this is one of the more interesting portals for quarterbacks. I think you got some names we haven't quite bigger names we haven't quite seen that many go. Um, some people may disagree with it, but like you got Sam Levitt to LSU, Mestamaker to Oklahoma State, Sorsby to Texas Tech, Hoover to Indiana. We also got here Caton Hauser, East Carolina to Illinois, and we got Eget Walker Eget from San Jose State is replacing Mensah at Duke. That was a throw the ball over the yard school. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of these guys, I think, are huge impacts there. I mean, LSU or Miami, first of all, just played a national championship. Miami and Indiana are both getting brand new quarterbacks. Both of them, right? Just in the national championship.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember. I mean, yes, national championship teams have replaced their quarterbacks before, but this is the third quarterback in 3 years for Indiana. Can they do something like this again with a transfer?
Maybe I think it's almost like I mean, see, here's the thing. I'd say, oh, maybe it's one of those like takes a year kind of thing because you've had Mendoza here for a bit and it works so well. There might be a little bit of a rocky start, but then I don't even know. You know, there's a good chance that he might hop in there and it might be a home run right away.
It was with Mendoza.
Yeah. So like, there's a lot of interesting names. There's a lot of guys that also did just kind of follow their coaches to
Yes.
their new schools. Like Grunkmeyer went to Virginia Tech and just followed Franklin.
Maker to Oklahoma State.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
So
Rocco back to Penn State. Yeah,
mhm.
there's a lot of that.
So some of the movement is just kind of that, but there's some to your point, like I mean, there's going to be some very, very interesting differences, I think, next year with some of these movements.
I think your biggest one here is Josh Hoover to Indiana from TCU to Indiana. I
Yeah.
believe, if I'm not mistaken, he's the all-time leading passer that's returning to college football. I think he's got the most passing yards in college football career-wise.
Mm-hmm.
2 or 3 year starter, maybe a 3 year starter at TCU now. Obviously, well seasoned, plays the game, going to IU.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't really seen a quarterback necessarily fail in that system thus far. And now you
No.
just added probably, I mean, Mendoza maybe the first overall pick, but that's the NFL and you reach for quarterback. But you might have just added your best quarterback in 3 years to that roster.
Mm-hmm.
Reload and go now, I guess, is what you can do in the transfer portal. And a few
Yeah.
of these guys I was interested with. Like, I wasn't too high on the Mensah thing. Actually, not that bad. I was thinking some of these guys had more turnovers than they did. Mensah, specifically Mensah and Sorby, both
Yeah.
of them are very, very careful with the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not many of these that don't make sense to me. And I don't think any of these put Miami, LSU, Texas Tech, Indiana. I don't think that puts any of them in a worse spot than they were last year, quarterback wise, even with the change.
No, there's no movements that really quarterback like as far as the team improvement. I don't second guess. Lagaway going to Baylor. Am I missing something about Baylor? Like, is there something going on there that there'd be a reason to go there? And granted, Florida wasn't great this year, but
He just
like,
wasn't good. Like,
yeah,
I don't think I just don't think he's good.
okay, personal opinion.
Yeah, that's my. I mean, he didn't play well either. But
Yeah.
yeah, take it to a lesser school, I guess. It's not quite a group of 5 team, but
Mm-hmm.
they're not exactly knocking the door down in the Big 12 to be competing anytime.
Yeah.
The one off the radar quarterback move, and a lot of these are going to be quarterback heavy. I mean, it's the most important position, but one off the radar. Caden Hauser from East Carolina to Illinois. I really like that match. Illinois, but they finished the season last year. They were they ranked in the
They
final?
were they kept being like either near the top 25 or they were like just in it.
Okay, AP top 25 final rankings. They were 26th.
Yeah.
So you're replacing Altmaier with Caden Hauser. Hauser started 2 years East Carolina. I mean, I don't think you're getting the best athletes out there, but numbers are solid. He played well. I saw him twice down there with playing Navy. I'm impressed with him. So you put him in there. That might be a better. Again, might be the best quarterback. What's the coach's name down there? Illinois. Bielma. Might be the best quarterback he's had too. So I think that's an underrated addition on the Illinois squad that doesn't seem like it's. I mean, they're a win here or there away from pushing to be in the Big Ten title.
Mhm.
Not pushing would be a stretch, I would say, but they're competitive in the Big Ten. They're a few good players away from making a splash, beating
Yeah.
a top 4 or 5 Big Ten team.
Mhm.
So I like that addition. Um, and then this is going to sound really dumb.
Okay.
I was looking through it, and North Texas. I mean, we'll get to the North Texas Oklahoma State thing probably in the team transfers because that was just essentially.
Yeah.
Um, but with Mestamaker going to Oklahoma State, Taven Jackson from Central Florida transferred to North Texas. Did you ever accidentally play Central Florida on a college football game?
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. I had to have at least played it once. Played it once.
I don't know if it was just the game that I played them or the 2 times that I played them, being obviously in West Virginia. And they're in the Big 12. I saw Taven Jackson this year actually play.
Okay.
He was like a cheat code against me.
In what way? It was just like what was he
Throwing,
doing?
running, all of it. And he does not run the ball in real life, so I don't know where that came from. And granted, I don't get my college football knowledge from playing NCAA 26, believe it or not.
Okay.
I do watch the games.
Mhm.
I didn't even play a lot of NCAA 26, thank you very much. But Taven Jackson was not what I expected when I sat down to watch the physical game after he just torched me in the video game. So
Mhm.
when I saw that, I was like, oh, interesting. And then, yeah, it's just odd. I think it was the
Interesting.
first year, too. It wasn't like a development thing.
Hmm.
But 3
So what you're
years down the
saying
road, he
is
was winning
that
a Heisman.
they the
They might,
game is that sending a message like this is what to expect this year from him?
they might be projecting, yeah. He might be a diamond in the rough.
Hmm.
That's what
All
we're
right.
getting at with that.
So
Another, go ahead.
I wanted to ask you about this too. So about Mendoza transferring out of Indiana.
Alberto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think like is it more so they didn't think or that he didn't think that he would get the starting spot
Oh, for
in
sure.
Indiana? Yeah.
Yeah. He was a 3-star quarterback. He wasn't, I mean, he was going to have to really turn some heads there. And Indiana just added the leading passer in the country to the roster.
Yeah. Okay.
So he's just going somewhere. And I'm obviously didn't get to see a lot of Alberto Mendoza. I mean, he
Yeah.
played, but Georgia Tech, in that way that they run their offense, seeing that Fernando's a bit mobile there too, that might be a good fit. Assuming that Alberto is just a, it's dumb to make that assumption. It's not that they're all the same, but if he's got a
Yeah.
little bit of Fernando to him, he might fit that thing that Brent Key's trying to do down there in Georgia Tech too, or that he has been doing. And maybe that's not what Brent Key wants to do. Maybe Haynes King was just all he had, and
Yeah.
Haynes King is everything that college football has, and he'll do whatever college football asks him to do. But
Yeah.
Alberto Mendoza could be the new Haynes King. Who knows?
That's a tall thing to live up to.
Yeah, it is. My my highest profile transfer outside of any quarterbacks is one of your
Oh
Coy,
yeah.
Coy there from Minnesota to Oregon, and I didn't catch it. Is it a redshirt junior? Has he got 2 years, or was he a senior going there 1 year?
I think he's a senior going there.
Okay.
Well, I want to
Relief.
actually check before I say that. How I feel about it is pretty easy.
You lost your best defensive player.
In some ways, yes. Here, I want to check before I see if he actually is a junior. Yeah. I'm checking to see if he's a junior first before I say anything else.
He might have a COVID year too. I don't know. Can't. We should be out of the COVID babies at this point.
That's not saying. Forget it. Anyways,
I'll look at it.
I want to talk about Coy because this has been on my mind for a bit ever since he transferred to Oregon. First off, Damien, I don't know how he's an Oregon fan, but congratulations to you. You can take him. He
Picks.
wants, huh?
He's only a sophomore.
Oh, well,
Or he's going to be a junior.
yeah, okay. But the thing about him is he very much wants to be Travis Hunter. So he very much sees himself as a two-way player. And he wanted a lot more offensive snaps this year than he actually got. And PJ, the way that Minnesota's ran, it's, RPO, much more run heavy. And there's not a lot of opportunities for him to try to be a receiver and to catch a lot of passes. And not to mention, I'm sorry, he's a good safety, decently good safety. He had himself a great freshman year. But besides that, this year, he really took a step back. And I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that he wanted to be more focused on the offensive side of the ball than actually improving the defensive side of the ball where he actually excels. The feeling on him, because he's from here, he lived up in the northern part of Minnesota. There's, funny enough, I got family members who've known him. No, not Canada, but close to Canada.
That little notch, that thing there is Canada.
That's not Canada. That's still Minnesota. That's still USA.
Right, so you're personal friends with Coy Parrish.
I'm not I'm not friends with him. But I had family members who known of him and lived around the same area that he lived and have known about him for a while. And the thought about him has always been that kind of egocentric, thinks he's the best guy in the field at all times. And I think a lot of it probably has had to do with the fact that he's probably been fed that ever since he was in high school. So, anyways, with that being said,
gotta have an ego to play at a high level, though, too. To some,
yeah, but you can still be a nice guy and not be a dick, and be good.
Come on,
you don't have to sit
football
there
in Minnesota and played it went to college in Minnesota. He's gonna have an ego.
Fair. Point being, I'm not really surprised that he perceives himself as a player a lot better than he actually is. I think he's a decently good defensive player. I don't ever see him having a future being any good on the offensive side of the ball. He will not be Travis Hunter, and he will not go and win himself a Heisman in Oregon. And maybe Dan Lanning can be a better convincer to Coy than PJ Fleck was, as far as hey, maybe stick to the defensive side of the ball. We've got enough good offensive pieces here that we don't need you being a receiver. And he'll actually listen. but that I guess will be we'll see how that works. I assume he'll be fine over in Oregon, and I think he'll be a decent he'll be a decent fit there. But part of me is like, oh, it's sad, like you said, we lost one of the best defensive players on our team, but also at the same time, hearing the stories about the guy and all of the stuff behind the scenes that were happening with him, I'm kind of not that hurt about it. You know, personal feelings. But yeah, I mean, good for Oregon. Have fun with him. Uh, but yeah, he's not ever gonna. I think he really perceives himself as like that. Like he wants to try to go win a Heisman, or he wants to like be perceived as like that big time superstar who can be good on both sides of the ball, which I just don't. I don't see it for him.
Maybe he does prove you wrong.
Maybe
I
Oregon
also
is a
do
lot better
think
team.
I also do think that a lot of times college football is different in this way than the NFL because one, we're still stuck in the student athlete portion of this.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to be stuck in that portion forever where it's all pride. Yeah, we're playing for our college and everything. I understand it's not the reality anymore, but all the fans still have that perception. That's how they feel. This is their school.
Mm-hmm.
And they, a lot of times, I think, are extremely butthurt when a kid decides to transfer, especially a hometown kid.
Yeah.
West Virginia's had a lot of these lately where either we don't recruit the kid coming out of high school in West Virginia or the kid out of a West Virginia high school will transfer from WVU. And then it's, oh, this guy hates his state, blah, 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 blah. So maybe that smoke's just a little bit overblown on the Coy Parrish portion just from,
I
not saying
don't
it's wrong, but
I don't think it's more so a hate of the state, and I think it is mostly probably just he got a better deal going to Oregon. Like he probably
yeah,
is
for
a hey,
sure.
and hey,
I
you're
think it
going to a
might be
great team.
sour grapes on people more just because he might
Maybe,
not be
but
as his egocentric portion might be more cast because of that. It's a fallacy more than reality. Not saying it's
maybe,
not reality, but it's overblown.
maybe, but also where there's smoke, there is fire. You
True.
know, and I tend to I don't think that all of the reports I'm seeing and hearing about him are all just all sour grapes. I think that the some of the talk about that is there's a hint of truth
To
to
everything.
all of that stuff. Yeah. So maybe it's not he's the bigot, like he thinks he's God or something. Maybe it's not on that level, but
Hmm.
maybe he also does. I would tend to believe that he probably is a little bit like maybe not butthurt, but maybe more so like upset over the fact that he didn't get as much time on the offensive side of the ball as he wanted. I think that probably did play at least a little bit of a factor as well.
Possibly. I don't know that I'll get that at Oregon, but
That's what I mean is like maybe we might see him transfer again here in another year if he doesn't get
yeah,
as much
it
time as he
wouldn't
wants.
make much sense for me to go to Oregon from Minnesota if you want time on both sides of the ball because the odds of Oregon having more elite athletes on the offensive side than Minnesota is much
Yeah,
higher.
yeah.
I'm gonna guess it's much easier for a safety or a corner to get on the offensive side of the ball at Minnesota than it would be at Oregon.
But that again plays into the factor of maybe his ego is that high that he thinks he's that good to play himself into a spot, on the depth chart for a wide receiver. I don't know. I don't
Possible.
know the guy personally. I've never actually met him.
No, you
So
said
I'm
you were
just
personal friends to start this.
I did not say personal friends. I said I had family members who knew him. But all I'm saying is that there's probably a hint of truth to some of those things for
Yeah.
sure. So good
No,
luck, Coy.
good luck, Coy. He was one of the names outside of quarterbacks that I zeroed in on, and just so happened to be Minnesota.
Yeah.
player. And then the other one, and this is going to sound like I'm cherry picking here, but the other one was literally the leading rusher in the nation, Cam Cook, going to WVU from Jacksonville State. And that's another one of those players leaving. I don't know why he didn't go last year. Cam Cook played under Rich Rod at Jacksonville State, now transferred to WVU. I'm not sure why the no transfer. We lost our entire running back room, so it's nice to get the nation's leading rusher to transfer in. That's a good supplement for the 4 running backs you lose right after the season.
That probably played a factor.
It helps, but could have used him last year too. So that's the other big one that I saw. I didn't see any. I mean, yes, we know Mestamaker left. He was the top leading passer there. Mensah left. We also got a lot of back on the, or I guess where people are playing train next year. This isn't so much the transfer portal. We got a few guys just waiting out eligibility requirements here. I mean, Pavia is still seeking his extra year. Joey Aguilar is with the junior college thing, where their thing is that junior college year shouldn't count. And then Parker Navarro as well from Ohio remains uncommitted. And that was one that was interesting to me because he was one of the better or more revered group of 5 quarterbacks there. Possibly has connections to Tennessee. I was seeing he was recruited by Arizona State coming out of high school. Arizona State lost Levitt, and they added a Michigan quarterback back and someone else, but I didn't see anything like there wasn't like a big name coming back to Arizona State. So if Navarro gets 1 year of eligibility, not exactly sure where that's going to fit. If that's another G5 school, or if does Tennessee or Arizona State take a shot to put him on the roster just to have a experienced quarterback like that.
Yeah.
So,
Cutter Boley was, I think, the name I saw that went from Kentucky to Arizona State.
Okay, they got that one from Kentucky. I think there was a guy from Michigan going to Arizona State. And yes, it's nice. Our college football experts here. Don't expect me to know every single guy yet.
Yeah, no. Not seeing that other one you're talking about. At least not yet.
Yeah. Anyway.
Keep scrolling.
Yeah. The only other one that I am interested in remaining unsigned is Roderick Shaw, Auburn offensive lineman. I don't believe he played this year. He's freshman, but didn't play. Doesn't seem like he suited up much, if at all, for Auburn. And I mean, he's super athletic guy. Looking at the tape. Meaning I saw a few highlights from him, but super athletic 4-star guy out of Oklahoma. So I saw he had some recruitment with Nebraska there. So I don't know if he might end up in Nebraska. I don't know why he's not signed yet. This isn't, I think, part of that year. If you're not signed yet, is something wrong? Are you still waiting on eligibility? Who are those guys not signed yet and why?
Yeah.
But looking through those, I did see that he was still unsigned. I'm interested to see if he returns home to Oklahoma or maybe takes Matt Rule up on any sort of Nebraska rumblings there were before.
Yeah.
So, a couple other notes that I had I love paying attention. You know how I love the offense and defensive line in the trenches and how much I love Miami's defensive line for the last 3 months.
Yep.
Took the liberty to go see who added some decent transfers on the offensive line and defensive line. Kentucky got 2 top 5 or 6 transfers in the interior offensive line category. So Kentucky's beefing up after getting rid of Stoops. New team, beef that line. Or new coach, beef the line. And Notre Dame, big boys. 2 big defensive tackles. Top 6, 2 of them top 6 or 7 there on the transfer side.
Shout out Adam.
Yeah, shout out Adam.
Bet he's happy about that.
Add some more defense. They did get a Powers, I believe, from Ohio State. He was a 4 or 5, depending where he looked. I don't care. Whatever, starter recruit. He had 4 catches this year, so I don't really. I mean, I know Notre Dame needs some playmakers outside of Love or their running backs there.
Yep.
Need someone to throw the ball to, but I got no idea if that was just a couldn't get on the field thing with all the receiving talent at Ohio State, or if maybe something was wrong.
Probably find a spot on that Notre Dame team. CJ Carr needs somebody to throw to.
That's what I was going to say. He does.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a list up there of the teams? You want to walk through that?
As far as just like
top 10 or so,
like notable, like you just want to run through the top 10, or you want to talk about like notable?
What's our rankings here?
So, as far as the rankings go, I mean,
who do you got where? Because I got on 3s up here.
I got 24/7 Sports.
The Rivals, yeah.
Yeah.
I think they have LSU as number 1 there.
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead, run their top 10 for me. LSU.
So LSU at 1, Ole Miss is at 2.
That's interesting because they just switched a lot of their players. They just kind of flip-flop.
That's how they have it ranked. It's a nice, decent chunk of a gap, ranking points wise between LSU and Ole Miss. But Ole Miss 2, they got Texas at 3, Miami 4, Ohio State at 5, Penn State at 6, Oklahoma State 7, Indiana's at 8, Texas Tech 9, and Kentucky is at 10.
Interesting. There's a few that are way different on the on-3 one. Kentucky's 38th in on-3. Oklahoma State's 27th. They still have Indiana as number 1. I'm going to say a lot of that has to do with Hoover coming in. They didn't lose many people either. They only lost 10.
Yeah.
LSU's 2, Tech 3, A&M 4, Louisville 5, Virginia Tech 6, Houston 7, Arkansas, new head coach 8, Texas at 9, and Notre Dame at 10. But I'm starting to see, it seems the less people you're transferring out, the better.
Yeah.
Better your rankings are over here on the on-3 side. The one thing I did want to touch on, and I think this is interesting, I'm not saying that he's anything or going to be anything like Signetti. I don't know why I couldn't think of his name, but Eric Morris going to Oklahoma State from North Texas essentially took his entire, I wouldn't say his entire roster, but he took his good players and he went to Oklahoma State. Mm-hmm. When I say he took his good players, I mean he took the nation's leading passer and the 5th leading rusher to Oklahoma State with another, was it 54 transfers in? Yeah, that's a brand new team in Stillwater. And I think you got a good young core there. I'm not talking about playoff right out of the gate year 1, but I think you're going to see a big shift with a wide open Big 12 next year with Oklahoma State there. Give those
Mhm.
guys 3 or 4 games to get set up. Be looking at a 9-win team. I think they may be the most intriguing team after the portal here and with the coaching change, everything.
For sure, yeah, for sure the most intriguing. I can see 9 wins with. I was trying to see like if there's any indication of their schedule. I want to see their schedule first before I jump and say like, all right, they're gonna win, you know, 10 games or whatever. But um, if they play the same way, I mean, again, granted, this is the thing is like, okay, so you're taking all those guys from North Texas to Oklahoma State. Are they going to play as well in an Oklahoma State schedule versus a North Texas schedule? That's my biggest thing is are they going to is the talent going to transfer and is it going to be just the same result or is there going to be a little bit of a struggle, where the hype is real and it doesn't live up to the hype?
It's true. Um, Good news for Eric Morris is that North Texas team was 1 win away from the playoffs this year too. So
Yeah.
it wasn't like it's untalented people he's bringing to
No.
Oklahoma State. And you're also going to figure out just how good they are really quick because Oregon comes to Stillwater on September 12th next year.
Okay.
So we're going to figure that out rather quickly in the beginning of the year. Outside of that, they have a fairly favorable Big 12 schedule there.
See, I was trying to find it. I think I found it now.
Murray State, I didn't even know had a football team, to be honest.
Oh. I'd say in loss. So if I were to just off the top of my head, prediction wise, I'd say they 1-0 after Tulsa, 1-1 after Oregon, 2-1 after Murray State, 3-1 after West Virginia, 4-1 after UCF. Houston was pretty good this year. They were sneaky good. Although I looked, they had a really bad transfer portal ranking.
See, On3's got them in the top 10.
Where did they have Houston on here? I swear they had them at like the bottom on 24/7.
They only lost 15 players, and that's good.
50th
for them. They only lost 15.
Fair.
So usually if you're bringing back most of your roster from the year before and you were good, that's usually a good sign. I don't know which 15 they lost.
I can look at that too. But I don't know why they have the rankings so different. Because, yeah, they have them 50th here. I mean, yeah, a lot of the guys they lost were just 3-star guys, 0-star guys, like not really anything impactful.
This one looks like it's Corey Platt.
So I'll say, what did I say? 1-1, 2-1, 3-1, 4-1, 4-2, 5-2.
Iowa
State
decimated.
Yeah.
They might be relegated to FCS.
6-2. Kansas State maybe 7-2. Texas Tech 7-3. If we go based off how well they played this year, and they're any bit as good as they were last year, or next year.
Sorsby coming in.
So 7-3 is what I said, right?
Mm-hmm. You got Arizona State and Kansas at the end of the year. Arizona State, we're not sure about quarterback.
Yeah, I'd say 8-4, 9-3.
You're right there off what was Oklahoma State last year. Wasn't good.
What was it, like 1 or 2 wins?
They were 1-11 last year.
Yeah.
They have lost 11 straight games.
Yeah.
They got beat 69-3 in Eugene.
I'd say you probably could place a bet that they'll double their wins next year.
I'd hope so.
That'd be a safe bet. I yeah, I'm just only hesitant because yeah, they'll be good. They'll win 9 games at least, in my opinion. But I think the hype there because of how well they played and the fact they were a contender for the playoff. I just don't think they'll be a contender for the playoff year one in Oklahoma State.
Oh, if you win the conference, I think that's still an automatic bid, is it not?
Yeah, but I mean,
Big 12's wide open. Texas
I
Tech.
don't know.
Other thing Oklahoma State's got is oil money.
Yeah,
Boone T. Pickens just got to put it where it needs to go. And maybe he did. I don't know what their booster situation looks like over there, but I know they replaced a lot of players with a lot of players.
that it goes again to though your argument of like, is he going to be the next Kurt Signetti in the sense that he's going to be able to turn this program around in a year? And is it all
He's got
going
a
to translate?
favorable schedule set up, just like Signetti did in his year one. I don't think there's another coach in the ever. Let me preface this first. I don't think there's another coach ever that can do what Signetti's done in 2 years. But when you're looking at a storm of what he did, you got a good G5 coach that had success for back-to-back years down there. Put him to Power 4 school that he brings mostly his roster from the G5 school with him. Give him a favorable schedule the first year. See what happens. 1-11, you can't get much worse than that.
Nope,
Only
you can't.
Only UMass can do that.
Yeah,
Kent State.
pretty much.
But that's the one school that I'm locked in on that I'm curious to see how that turns around. I think we know what Virginia Tech's going to do.
Yep.
That's been well documented, in my feelings, at least with James Franklin, and especially what the ACC is. I think Virginia Tech's a shoe-in to just be top 2 or 3 of that conference every year now. If not, take it over as if it were Dabo in the mid-2010s.
I also think having Grunkmeyer in there as their guy is sneaky good. I like Grunkmeyer a bit.
He's got some developing to do still, but yeah, I mean that's a gritty guy down there.
Mm-hmm.
LSU will be interesting to see how the Kiffin thing works.
It is funny how that is like they got LSU, all these guys coming in, and there's all that bad talk about Kiffin ditching his players at Ole Miss, and all these guys still just bought in and just followed him right to LSU. Didn't listen to any of that. Like, oh, he's gonna bail on you. Oh well, I'm still gonna go play for him.
They can bail too.
Yeah,
you had some LSU guys going back to Ole Miss though. So it's interesting that the two teams kind of meshed.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see how that plays out that way. But I'll sure we'll do some deeper dives here and see how these rosters start to shake out.
There's another one I wanted to point out on the opposite end of the spectrum of like good teams. Where do they have Clemson on 3?
Clemson is 31st.
They have Clemson 70th in this.
They don't have many transfers out. That's the thing.
My thing is though,
doing a quality, like they're doing what's your quality, not necessarily quantity. And I think on Rivals they're more going. It's not that it's not quality, but they're more here's quantity.
I guess, but it's the number of like 9 guys coming in, and there's no splash. They were bad this year. Like seeing that paired with how bad this season was for Clemson, and how there was how many people calling for a new coach to be put in there. That is what makes me go, okay, maybe this might be the move to maybe this might be his last year. If if it's as bad or possibly could be worse, than this year. Next, that was the underlying one I saw where I was like, that does not look good. That does not look good.
Could be. The one that got decimated on 3 is Iowa State. They're 70th. They only ranked the top 70. It looks like it might only be Power 4 schools that they got on here. Iowa State is 70th on 3. And on their little index score thing they do, 69, Utah sits at 69 with a negative 25 index score. Can you guess what Iowa State's index score is? From negative 25 to be worse than negative 25. What do you think you have to be Iowa State at 7?
I don't know. You tell me.
Negative 59.
Good God.
It goes so the last 5 spots, negative 19, negative 21, negative 23, negative 25, and then it goes to negative 59.
Jesus Christ. And see, they have Iowa State 59th here.
They got decimated on here.
Yeah. I mean, they're still above a lot. Like, they're still above Iowa. They're still above Clemson. They're still above, like there's a lot of these other teams that, according to this, had way worse transfer portals than Iowa State. I don't understand that, but
they're all lists. They're all opinionated right now. So we'll see
how
this works. We'll learn more as we go along.
So is that who you chalk up to having the worst transfer portal? Is Iowa
by
State?
far.
Okay.
Iowa State and Oregon State. And Oregon State just simply because they lost 27 guys and only transferred in 7.
Okay.
You're already not in a conference. It's already, chips are stacked against you.
I'll say
Pac-12 coming back this year. I guess it kind of is.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Just with an entirely new look. Like Washington State kind of had the same thing there. 34 transfers out, 12 in. So
I'll say
those 3 is the worst.
I'll say Clemson only just be I like that one's the outlining one because that was like to me it felt like you really needed to make a lot of moves and you really needed to get some higher end guys coming in because this year it did not work and you really didn't do anything. So yeah, you're coming back with the same look and the same feel, and you're probably going to get the same result.
Even just adding a splash quarterback wouldn't have been
something. Anything.
Something to mask it for a year at least.
So improvement in the wide receiver position, O-line, like some real big-time 4 or 5-star guys, and there's nothing.
Dabo builds through high school. We'll see what happens. Does he still have the magic there, or is it James Franklin's show now?
It might be James Franklin's show,
Miami's back. Maybe I shouldn't write them off yet either.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens as we go. You got anything else to add?
No, I think I've said all I needed to say.
All right. We'll do some more digging and lists and rankings and fun things throughout the off season because we only have 7 more months until football's back.
It's a lot of shows.
I know. And it's a lot of time that I miss football.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll be is it UFL now or XF? Whatever they merge is to.
The UFL. Yeah, we were talking about the UFL?
Yes. Yeah. When's that start back up? That's got to be like 3 weeks, right?
I think it's right. It's either right after the Super Bowl or a couple weeks after the Super Bowl.
So, March 27th.
Yeah, so a couple weeks after the Super Bowl.
Sweet. All right. Thank you guys for watching the College Football That Flip Entertainment College Football Show presented by Football. And we'll get you
comment,
subscribe, unsubscribe, resubscribe, like again.
No, because if they like again, then it undoes the like. So now you have to like a third time.
All right.
To keep the like.
yeah, let us know who your top transfer guys are, or if we probably missed your favorite player and everyone else. So let us know.
Yeah.